Good morning, social media friends. Those of you who are local with me here in the, let's say, upper Midwest, where at least today, as I'm looking out my window, we're starting to get some sun, this thing called sun that we haven't seen for a while. For those of you, social media friends, family members, friends from afar, from wherever you may be today, watching this as a live stream or on demand as a recording. Welcome. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. By the way, before I lean into the meat of our episode of this video podcast series, Selling That House, let me start off with, hey, all of you watching, who's played a great joke or a prank on you? Why? Because, hey, today's February 1st, April Fool's Day. Lucky for me, no one has sprung on me some crazy prank, joke, but the day is still young. Today, everyone, I've got the pleasure to introduce to you a friend, a relationship that we started together, I think 4 or 5 years ago. I call him Richard S. And the reason why is because if I attempt to pronounce his last name, which I will once he comes into the studio, I probably will mess it up. So maybe he will correct us once he's here live in the room with us. But before I do that, let me tease you with who is Richard S. So let's go.
Did you know there are 3 things that gets your home sold? Starting off with number 1, and that's the condition of your property. You want it to be as clutter-free and staged as properly as best as possible. Number 2, the location of your property makes all the difference. Whether you're on a corner lot, in a cul-de-sac, in a beachfront, with a water view or conservation, that helps it out. And the third way is the price. Overpricing your home, bad. Pricing it right with the recommendation of your agent, good. So if you like this tip, then follow me for more. And until then, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
You cannot, audience members, you cannot avoid that energy, that infectious smile, and that personality from Richard. So with all of that said, let's just bring the real Richard into the room. All right, here we go. Hello, Richard.
Hey guys, what's going on? Good morning to you guys and happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Happy April Fool's Day. Hopefully no one has sprung on you any crazy jokes or pranks yet.
No, not yet. Still waiting, so for sure.
Maybe you can pull a joke or a prank on one of your seller clients. Let me lean in and give you maybe a good one, which is call one of your seller clients that you just got under contract and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, sorry, I got to call you today because the deal's blown up.
I don't know if that'd be a joke or not, but
That's true. That might be a bad joke. Might be a bad joke. Okay. So all of that being said, Richard, I'm going to attempt, as I always do, to pronounce your last name. And am I correct to lean in and say it this way? Souksenphet.
Yeah, so very close. So the way that I share with people how to say my last name is phonetically. So think of the word like soup, like a chicken noodle soup or tomato soup, and the name Sam, like Sam I am, and then like a pet cat or a pet dog. So you pronounce it Souksenphet. So
Souksenphet.
there you go. Yep.
All right. I was close, but not bullseye. Sorry about that. So from that Facebook reel that I played before unveiling the real you.
Yeah.
Richard, I gotta say this. You are spot on, man. Those three things. The one thing that's so very important is this. I've heard it from many of your peers when maybe I personally had to sell a home, and that is you got to price it
Yeah,
right?
correct. Yep,
Every
yep.
home will sell at the right price point.
Yep, and we've noticed that in this market, especially since it's starting to transition a little bit. And so,
Really?
yeah, so we're noticing that, and our sellers are still getting top dollar, but they have to be more realistic also when it comes to pricing the home. And that's where the beauty of relying on your real estate professional to help you out with that. So.
So talk to me about this. By the way, audience members, I didn't tell you this, but as you can see from Richard's dynamic personality, he sells the Sunshine State. You can see him in his, Hawaiian shirt, short sleeve. Compared to me, I'm the total opposite. We're still dealing with winter up here, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful down here in Florida. Sunshine year round. Gets a little cooler, but I mean, I'll tell you what, I don't miss the snow whatsoever. And a lot of people that are moving here don't miss the snow either. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, with that as the backdrop, you hinted at this already, which is yes, sellers have to be realistic. They have to follow, of course, your advice to price it right. So, are you seeing more of a balanced market, equal supply and demand down there in that part of Florida?
yeah, so we are noticing that it is becoming a lot more balanced out here. And, the supply is starting to go up and it is staying on the market a little bit longer. But what's great about it is since some of the sellers bought during the boom in 2020, 2021, they still have a lot of equity in their homes, which is a great opportunity for them to make a good profit and go wherever their next step is. So.
Yeah. Um, about 3 weeks ago, Richard, I'll share this story with you. You'll probably nod your head and say, Bill, I got like 12 stories just like that. A relationship of mine moved out of the Illinois upper Midwest area, moved south, not all the way south to the Sunshine State. However, they moved south. They bought a new construction home and realized it's not their a forever home. So guess what they did? They sold that thing and they netted, get this figure, they netted 100 G's.
Holy cow, 100,000. Yeah, you can't be mad at that, honestly. That's for them for sure. So, and
Right?
we're seeing
And,
that a lot.
yeah. And the funny thing is when she and I caught up by phone, because I didn't know about her news, I asked her, I was like, so what's it like living in the volunteer state, Tennessee? All
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
And she said, Bill, we don't live there anymore. I'm like, what? So she told me the story. And I said, so where are you at now? So, Richard, for your benefit, maybe for her, Christine, if you're watching today's episode, either live stream or on demand as a recording, she's in your state, buddy. And maybe, just maybe, she's looking to roll that 100 G's plus more into really her forever home. So,
Wow, that's awesome. That's exciting for sure. So,
yeah, yeah. So right now, what I'm hearing from you is you're in a great position. There's more of a balanced market, so it's not like with all of your buyers, lighting up your phone. It's not like you got to do the April Fool's joke on them and say, "Sorry, I can't help you. Nothing to sell you."
yeah, no, for sure. It's still a seller's market down here in Florida. We are starting to see as the new year begins, where some sellers are receiving actual multiple offers, and
Yeah,
at some of the open houses, we're starting to get packed down here in Florida once again. And I think a lot of that has to do with some people up in the north or different states that are filled with snow, where they're just ready to make that move and enjoy the sunshine year round. So
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm hearing. And I think beyond just chasing the sunshine lifestyle, which I see you promote all the time, I love it. I live vicariously through you, especially in these months of my winter. I think other reasons that sometimes are higher priority has more to do with just being closer to their family members
Yes.
that call Florida home, or friends, close friends that are like family that live in Florida. So the multitude of reasons are kind of like pretty wide.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. It's the best of all worlds right now. So
What parts of Florida do you focus on? Can you share that with us, Richard?
yeah, so I primarily focus in Parrish, Florida, which is in the Sarasota area, which has also been named one of the top 10. I think it's ranked number 2 in some parts of the news article online. But in
Okay.
the greater Tampa Bay area is the service area that I serve. So anywhere from Tampa Bay all the way south to Venice, Florida. My primary bread and butter is Lakewood Ranch and Parrish, Florida. And so there's a lot of growth that we're seeing out here. And, so excited for everything that's coming along. And we're excited to welcome people here to Florida. And we're getting people moving from all sorts of states, which is really cool to see. So, especially from the Midwest, from Illinois, where I'm originally from also.
Yep. We talked about that when I first met you, and you jumped right into the question. You read my mind. I was going to ask you, hey, with all of the clients that you help transition from the lifestyle they don't want to the lifestyle you offer them, where are
Yes.
they moving from? So you touched on that. They're coming from colder states, just like you back in the day, to live the next chapter of their lives.
Yeah, for
Are
sure.
most of the buyer clients that you are helping, you are servicing, are they how do I say this? Do they span the gamut of like first time buyers to repeat buyers to the downsizers, the whole gamut, right?
Yeah, so Florida has always been a huge relocation state. So whether you're retiring or, like you said before, Bill, if you have family members or just looking for something new down here in Florida, we are seeing a lot of people relocate here. So I touched base on it a little bit, but we're having so many people move down here from Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, which is great because they're bringing their food and restaurants down here. A huge one is Portillo's down here in Florida. We've got Portillo's popping up everywhere, which we love. But not only that, but we're getting a lot of people from New York and New Jersey,
Wow.
getting away from that big city life and moving down to the Tampa Bay area where you still get that city life. But you get that nice sunshine feel going back to it again. And not only that, but besides the Midwest and the East Coast, we're getting a lot of people from California. And a lot
Wow.
of people would wonder, what's going on in California? Well, what's going on is, as we all know, California home prices are a little bit higher, or should we say a lot higher, where the median
Lot higher.
are, $1 million on up. And, when they come down here to Florida, they'll pick something up for, let's say, 500,000-600,000, and they'll still have 500,000 left over. So yeah, it's great for people from California moving to Florida. They can buy a home cash, have extra cash to do whatever they'd like. And a lot of people are working from home now throughout the
Yeah.
whole United States, whether it's West Coast, the Midwest, or the East Coast. And so that has been a beautiful thing down here in Florida, the fact that they can still make the money that they're making, but enjoy everything Florida has to offer.
I agree with you. I think when that thing called COVID
Yep.
kind of held all of us back, and we were scratching our head with like, what the hell are we going to do now?
Yeah.
I think that literally changed everybody's thinking of, do I really have to live here? Why can't I live there and still do my stuff? And so, yes, with what you're telling me, I've watched that momentum for the past, 2.5, 3 years. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Because I see you, Richard, your team, your peers, but it's really you, sell not only the Sunshine State, but I see you sell mostly like brand new construction homes, right?
Yeah, that is when they say that, to choose your niche when it comes to your profession, I have always fell in love with new construction home. It spans from when I first moved down to Florida. My first home was a new construction home. And so I have somewhere in my heart with new construction home and helping clients with it. Not to say that there's nothing wrong with any other type of homes, but there's no better feeling than buying something brand new and seeing as it gets built. So
What is the difference between helping, let's start with the buyer side of your business. What is the difference in helping a buyer buy a brand new construction home versus an existing home?
yeah, so some of the major differences is that you get to be a part of the upcoming areas where the new homes are being built, and you have a lot of different choices. Not only that, but they also have a warranty that comes with most new homes, and you never have
Ah,
to have the hassle of, worrying about the roof or the AC or the water heater, knowing that it's covered. A lot of these newer home communities also for buyers have amenities that a lot of people like, and so those are some of the differences between new home construction and existing home construction. So,
that's true. That's very true because just like everything in our lives, from the mobile phones we now carry 24/7 to the cars that we drive, technology constantly is getting improved. So I also see that with new home construction, new home design, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things I always uh, enjoy with a big smile on my face. By the way, my sister lives in Tampa. So, sis, if you're watching today's live stream or as recording, thank you for sharing your time with us. Meet Richard. He's close enough to you than me, um, in the Sunshine State. So, in that area that you deliver your value and your concierge service to all of your clients. It's amazing to me that almost, what is it? Almost like 3 out of 4 homes have that nice pool,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it's a huge thing here in Florida. We're depending on where you live, you may be close or further away from the beach, but there's no better feeling than having the ability to have the pool in the back of your yard during the hot summer months where you could just, jump right in to enjoy it with yourself, your family, or if you have friends or family over.
True, true, and it's covered by, I've heard the term. It's covered by like a nice lanai, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I would not recommend having a pool without a covered lanai, especially with all the mosquitoes and bugs. And not only
true.
that, but gators down here in Florida.
Oh, that's
Um,
right.
yeah, that's a huge thing. And if you decide to make that move down to Florida, just know that we have gators everywhere water is, basically. But you're getting used to it. As long as you leave them alone, they leave you alone. And they're amazing, amazing animals for sure. So.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. So let's now flip to the other side of your business, sellers.
Yep.
What might be the difference, in your opinion, selling a newer construction home versus an existing home? What is your advice, your strategy to that segment of your client base?
Yeah, so when it comes to selling newer homes compared to existing homes, if you are a seller selling one of your newer homes that are within a couple years, what you have to know and compete with is builders' incentives. For them selling the new builds, you'll have to price your home accordingly in order to better compete with the new builders. I focus a lot on new home resales also. And one of the things that I always talk to my sellers is pricing it accordingly. And when it comes to existing homes, well, now they get to compete against not only the new home builds, but also the new home resale. So, we
Yes.
have to be even more aggressive on pricing their homes. And with that, a lot of it has to come with the location of the home, things that have been upgraded if they needed to, whether that be the roof, the AC, the water heater. And one of the advantages of selling an existing home compared to a new home sale in that matter is a lot of people that own an existing homes have done upgrades that you cannot get in the design center, and the style and the layout. And not only that, but some existing homes actually have a lot more space than these newer home communities where the homes may be a lot closer to each other. And so that is one of the major advantages of selling an existing home compared to new home resales or new home builds. But it all depends on what you, the buyer, is looking for, and the seller what they're willing to make as a profit, using the expert advice of a real estate professional like myself. So
Yep. And as I'm listening to you, I'm buying into your expertise. Audience members, ladies, gentlemen, family members, look at that sign. Richard's, I'm going to call it your vision board.
oh
I mean,
yeah,
it's so true.
yeah.
The harder you work, the luckier you get. Right on, brother.
Yeah, it's so true. Not only in real estate, but in life in general. So many times, we all want to just coast in life and take the easy way out. But in order for you to achieve your next level in life, whatever that is, whether it's health, wellness, or your career, just know the more work and consistency that you put in, the greater the outcome that you'll get. So
True that. So for those of you watching, if you might be, because we can read into a crystal ball, right, Richard? If you might be thinking about selling your home or buying your next home, Richard perhaps might be your man, not just because he's selling the sunshine lifestyle, but because, back to his vision board, maybe, just maybe, if you haven't found the right real estate broker to partner with to help you get to your next chapter, the harder he works, the luckier he gets. And by that also, the luckier you get with multiple offers, blah, blah, blah. Let's now pivot to this last segment, because I know, we talked about it. You sell a lot of new construction homes. In your opinion, within the recent, let's say, 5 years, can you kind of drop like some of the top technology features that new construction home offers that make the home easier to maintain, smarter to run, and kind of like walk into that new construction home, you or me thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do anything. What might those features be?
Yeah, so in the last 5 years, we're noticing a lot of new technology coming here to new homes in Florida, including smart homes, like you mentioned before, Bill. You've got smart cameras, thermostats, doorbells, garages, you name it. Everything can be all controlled through your phone. Not only that, but when it comes to the integrity of your home, a lot of homes down here in Florida, at least, are now having built-in termite prevention, where they can just stick something into the side of the home and pump in whatever things that they need to do to keep termites out, which is really nice. But not only that, but a lot of times when you buy in a new community, a lot of them have HOAs and CDDs, and so maintaining that throughout the community keeps the value of all the homes upkept, which is great. One of the good things about Florida is most of our homes, well, I would say probably the majority of our homes, are built out of stucco concrete block. So it builds on the integrity of the homes at that point. Some builders, especially building two-story homes, also offer stucco concrete block on the first level and the second level. So that way, if in the unfortunate situation a hurricane comes, your home is better protected that way. And so the strides of hurricane protection for Florida homes have made leaps and bounds, where a lot of these homes are able to sustain very high winds nowadays. So
yeah. Mother Nature can sometimes be very unkind and can be quite pissed at us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that's going down to it real quick when it comes to hurricanes, if somebody decides to move down here to Florida, relocate to Florida, hurricanes is a thing down here. But there's a old story or legend in the Tampa Bay area as far as the location goes. We have been lucky for the longest time, and I forgot when the last time we ever got a hurricane, if ever. And the legend is that, Indians or people who used to live down here put some type of an enchantment to protect the Tampa Bay area from hurricanes. And so a lot of times when hurricanes comes, you usually hear about Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Jacksonville. further down south or in the panhandles. We've been very fortunate in the Tampa Bay area to not really get a direct hit. And, that's one of another reasons why so many people are moving out to the Tampa Bay area. So,
yeah, you're right. You're spot on because within the past 5 years, yeah, my sister has mentioned to me because, when Mother Nature unleashes some of her madness, I always either call or text her like, "Hey, are you guys leaving?" Or she's like, "No, we're hanging out. We're staying cool." So you're spot on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sharing your time with us. As I wanted to share and introduce my audience to you, Richard, because Richard is the guy. If you're thinking about moving to Florida, Sunshine State, but in particular Tampa Bay area, all the way down to Venice, the guy knows his new construction stuff. So hit him up if you want that. What is it? You want that new paint smell? Who doesn't love that?
New paint smell, new walking in carpet smell, designing your home with some of the builders and the amenities. One thing that I want to touch base on right now is we are having a lot of lagoon communities being built around the Tampa Bay area. So if you're not needing to go all the way out to the beach, well, we are building lagoon communities left and right. I want to put a quick shout out as they are building a lagoon community in my city of Parrish, Florida called Sea Air, which is the first of its kind in Manatee County. We're so excited about that and can't wait for the lagoon to be here all around Tampa Bay.
Perfect. Hey, as part of our live stream, and when this hits as a recording, I personally will make sure I tag Parrish and Lagoon Living. How's that?
Yeah, lagoon living is where it's at, man. No need to travel very far if you're not close to a beach, and you still get to enjoy that lifestyle. And actually, if you buy a home in those communities, you get to enjoy it every day that you're there. You know what I mean? So.
Right on, right on. As we wrap up today's episode of Selling That House, everyone, thank you for your time. Richard, thank you for sharing your time and your expertise. That is priceless. Until we see each other in the next episode of Selling That House, if you are a real estate broker and you've got your unique story just like Richard's, and you want maybe a spotlight to share your stories, feel free to scan this QR code that you see here. I will be honored, be glad to start a conversation with you as to when you can do a guest appearance in an upcoming episode. So Richard, as we wrap up, brother, go out there, sell some new construction homes. More the better. I know you will. And I look forward to seeing you. Maybe the next time I hit my sister's place, I'll come over, kind of live in your aura for about half a day.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you once again for having me on. Thank you for everybody for jumping on and checking us out. And I can't wait to talk to you and see you guys and hopefully help you in the near future. So.
Right on. Okay, everyone, enjoy April Fool's Day. Hopefully not too many jokes or pranks.
Yeah, for sure.